I always talk about my wife and a lot of these stories, and near the end, the last few years, and she ultimately died from alcohol use disorder about 4.5 years ago. I know a lot of people. If this is the first time you're seeing me, this may not make a whole lot of sense, but a lot of people are interested in how we first met, and we actually met back in 1990, I think. We worked for an insurance company called FHP. We sold Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare for the senior population, senior plan HMOs, specifically designed in Southern California, and it was a very good job. I mean, we were both salespeople. I had started there, a couple of years before her, and she was one of the new ones. And I can remember the first time I met her, we had a board, in the sales room, and they put the names of the new salespeople down, and her last name at the time was Dingle. And I can remember going, Dingle? What kind of name is that? She was, hey, I'm Dingle. And she was very sassy. And I can just remember him going, yeah, she'll be around here about a week. And what happened was she ended up being, and there was two sides to the organization, and she ended up being a top salesperson on her side, and I was a top salesperson on mine. And eventually, just through friendships, inside the office, we became fast friends, and eventually more than that. That's really how we met, through the insurance business. And I think our first date was, she was very much into animals. So I had just bought a house in East Highland, California, and I had gotten a dog. And our first date was going to the pound and picking up this dog that I had. We ended up having that dog for 8 years before it had cancer. It was funny and she had a dog, and our dogs kind of got together, and she got together. We had a lot of wonderful years in the beginning. I lived in my house for about 6 months. I ended up renting that out for about 5 years, and then we ended up buying her father's house. She had a nice house on the water in Canyon Lake. We had a private dock. We had a pontoon boat that fit 12 people. Really nice house on the water. We had our private beach, and it was really nice life. We got married in 1994. We had Griffin in 2000. And Amanda always drank during this period. She always drank wine, couple glasses, and that steadily increases. And by the time Griffin was 2, I think she had her first really bad episode with binge drinking, right around 2002 to 2004. And that's when I started having growing concerns, about 10 years into the marriage. And then around 2009, she had a really bad episode, binge drinking, and she had a blockage in her stomach. And then she had to go to the emergency room. We had to call 911. It was quite a, I've made videos on that too. And that was the first real scare that I had. It was a really big health scare, because she could have died at that time. And, again, her drinking had escalated at this point to at least a bottle a day. And that was probably, we're talking about 15 years into the marriage at that point. And it started getting scary. And unfortunately, from that period down, there was a couple of years where she was okay, right around from 2008 to about 2011. She really had it in check. She didn't drink that much. But then, something else happened in future. Then, as far as our relationship, right around 2012, my company expanded. We're doing very well, and she really didn't need to work as much. And I think it was that particular loss of purpose. I mean, economically, she didn't really need to work as much. She always did a lot of the phone calls and she used to do some of the field work, but after 2012, she really didn't play as big a part. She really just, spent a lot of time, honestly, being a housewife. I don't think that was a role that was really suited to her. She's kind of the person that needed to be out in the world. And looking back, I kind of think that was her downfall, because she kind of lost her purpose. And I wish she had really, kept a job. And unfortunately, by 2014, she started getting DUIs. And I mean, the last 5-6 years, it was a straight down in the ground. I mean, she never stopped drinking, and she ended up going to 7 rehabs, numerous DUIs, car accidents. I mean, more than I can count. Went to the emergency room all the time. And I mean, if you've followed me, you've heard a lot of the stories that I've gone through. And unfortunately, it all resulted in her passing in February 21st of 2020. But again, the first years were very nice. And I really tell this story because it's a progressive disease. You can take really the most loving, empathetic person carrying your greatest friend in the world. And, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, they've really become an entirely different human being, mentally unstable, physically unhealthy, and really you've become their caretaker. And for anybody, this story has always been a cautionary tale. Again, that's the name of the memoir that'll be coming out in September. It's called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. And I hope my thread, this page, helps families, which is really what it's designed for, help families, help people who have alcohol use disorder. And again, please like, share, and comment. And when you are ready to work with me one-on-one, you can click on the link in the calendar tree, set up a Calendly meeting. I also go live Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And we have the Facebook group called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. And again, thanks for listening.